Good afternoon from beautiful Brisbane, Australia. My name's Linda, and to all our new members, welcome to group. I haven't actually been live for a while because I've actually been doing a lot of work towards my business, as well as doing a lot of research and study for us in the area of complex PTSD. Now, at the moment, I've been triggered yesterday because there's a whole range of factors that happen in our brain that cause triggering, and I will go over them on another video. However, for now, for today, for those who is headed into the weekend and we have to try and do different things, I want to give to you some information that is practical, which is what I love to do. Because when it's practical, we can put it into the experience of our lives, and that begins the process of change and being able to overcome the triggers. Now, I want to reinforce that before we go into all of this, we can be triggered and we can be feeling really good. So the other day while driving in the car, my daughter said to me, "Mum, you've just had a turn." We call them have a turn. My body will shake like, really short and sharp. And I said, "I've no idea why." And I sat there and I go through some of the steps some of the time in what I do. But what I did this particular day was go through each emotion that I was feeling to see if there was something that could have triggered me. And I said to her, on every level in everything that I'm doing in my life today, related to other people and to myself, I'm actually happy. So we will go through stages where we're actually happy, but our brain is triggered because it's out of the norm of the thoughts and beliefs of what the trauma trained our brain to believe was safe. So in one sense, we can say that when we act normal, like we have normal day-to-day life, we'll be triggered because our brain operates on trauma code. And that's very different for each of us, but it's there. However, we can work towards recognizing them, overcoming them, etc., etc. But we do it by the different experiences we have in our day-to-day life. Now, that's a challenge because our brain produces so many feelings, so many emotions, energy and motion of fear that we don't want to step outside the damn house. And the only way to break free is to start doing the little things a little bit at a time. So for me, I used to be terrified of stepping outside the house. But I knew if I didn't try, I wouldn't break free. Okay, so I want to bring this up for you so that you can see, and thanks for watching, how we can go about managing our triggers. Now, the first part is that we don't actually know what triggers the trigger, okay? It could be anything, and we're often not aware. We just know all of a sudden we want to crumble in a ball on the floor. We want, if we're on our own, but if we're with other people when we get triggered, it's like, oh my goodness, how can I hide the fact that I'm triggered? Which might sound crazy, but that's what I do too. And it's like, I've been triggered. What am I going to do? I'm in public or I'm in with a group of people and I have to pretend that I'm strong and I've got it all together. Oh, I've done so much of that. And mentally that drains us, so our body starts to get more tense and more triggered. So, in the interest of getting to the point, what are we going to do when we're triggered? Okay, so first of all, we're going to acknowledge that we've been triggered, because oftentimes what will happen is we look at the environment around us, and if we can feel deep enough, we can feel in our guts that we don't feel safe. But then we start to go logical, because if you're at home, you're going, but I am safe. If you're out doing something familiar, you go, this is crazy. I am safe. I'm safe in this environment. I'm safe with these people. What the heck is going on? So don't stuff it down. It just makes it worse, as you know. What we're going to do is, okay, I'm going to acknowledge that I've been triggered. Now, don't try and ignore the fact either. So we don't try and stop it and we don't try and ignore it. We start putting our hand on our heart and we're going to breathe, okay? We're going to breathe slowly in for 5 seconds and slowly out. We're going to go, okay, I'm triggered. I'm the adult. I'm in charge of my environment and now I'm going to process what's happening for me, not what my thoughts believe should be happening or, whatever else it is in your environment. Work out underneath what you feel you need. Okay, so my example, which is actually probably down the road a bit because I used to have a full-time carer, but now my example from last night was I was tired but I needed groceries, which is not like me because normally I've got heaps, but I had to do this. So my first thing was I feel I need to go and get my daughter. Think about it all the time. And because it's, like 20 minutes, half an hour, it would have been half an hour to her place last night because it was peak hour traffic. So then I start processing what else do I need. And I went, okay, I need the food, but how am I going to manage the trigger? I thought, I feel I need just to go into the shop and do it because I know that I am safe. And I went into the shop, and for me, very much a routine, okay, is what helps me feel safe. So in the shop, my kids will tell you I've always got to hold on to the trolley, even if they're there. It's a rare day that I'll say, oh, you hold the trolley. I hold the trolley because I find that it keeps me grounded. If you've done grounding exercises before, do your grounding exercise, okay? Really important to communicate with those around you what you need. Okay, I was on my own, so there was no one to communicate to. But I could have rung any of my children and said, look, I'm out. I've been triggered. I don't know what it is. I just need to talk to you for a sec. Now, the reason why you want to do this is it's connection, okay? We are connecting into the world, whereas in trauma brain, our brain's saying disconnect. Disconnect from everything around you and run, okay? Fight or flight. Disconnect, let's go. I'm out of here, all right? We've got to connect. We've got to do the opposite of what our brain is telling us to do. Next, we need to have a library of go-to behaviours to use when you know you're triggered. So if you're at home, get up and walk around. Okay, so today I'm still running on being triggered. So today, when it got too intense in my body, I got up and I walked around, I went outside, I emptied bins, I put washing on, etc., etc. I did things that are normal for me to do and that I'm safe to do. So if I'm saying I am safe and feeling it, then the brain's got nothing to go against because I'm actually taking action. So we're going to shift the dynamics and we're taking action. So what you need to do is, if you're at home and you're triggered, make a list of things that you do on a day-to-day basis that are routine. And for women, it could be cleaning, it could be having, the spray and wipe and a cloth handy, or going to do the dishes. And I'm going to tell you this, it's not going to be easy. You're going to have to fight for normalcy for you, okay? You've got to want to do it, and you've got to want to be in that space where you want to conquer what's trying to take over your life and shut it down. Now, the reason why we do these normalizing things too is not only does it shift our breathing rate, okay, so when we're in hypervigilance, if you feel your heart, it feels like this. If you look at your hands and feet and toes, they're usually like this. So what we want to do is move our body so that we're changing our heart rate, we're changing our breathing, etc., etc. And it doesn't have to be exercise. Just get up and walk, even go for a walk around the block, but do something that will help you shift your visual focus at the bare minimum of what's going on. So remember, Our brain takes in everything initially through our senses, right? So some of your go-to things can be sensory as well. But sometimes you just need to touch something like this and your brain will shift its focus, okay? Taste something. I mean, heck, we all know chocolate feels good. But give yourself a time out just to eat, okay? And when you're a mum, you're allowed to teach your kid these boundaries of stop, I need a minute here, put a timer on if you need to, and what you're doing then is teaching them to discipline themselves to wait, okay? And that's a good thing. That's a healthy thing. I taught my kids and great, they know. And they actually encourage me to speak up and say, this is what I need. I need time out. Now, itemize your emotions. So when you sit down, either write down, grab your phone, take some notes, itemize. So sit there, breathe slowly and feel what you're feeling and write down a list of what you're feeling, because you'll find that it's not just the fear, it's what's underneath the fear, and it can be many different emotions. And from those emotions, eventually you can back trace what the trigger was. It will come to you, not necessarily straight away because your brain's still going on, massive computer mode, but it will come to you. As you list each emotion and you're feeling it, all of a sudden you're breathing more and you're beginning to get a sense of, so this is what I'm picking up on, this is what's happening. The reason why I'm being triggered over the last 24 hours is because I'm changing. I'm changing my focus of my business. I'm changing what I'm going to do with my life. And there's so much internal change and they're big things. So my brain wants me to shut down and go, well, no, sorry, you're not doing that. Well, yeah, I am. I'm an adult now and I want to do this. So I do these things. I itemize my emotions. So when I was out last night and triggered in public, I stand there and I'm itemizing my emotions in my own mind and I'm going, right, I can see that, I can see that. But then I was able to flip it. And I went, once they're itemized and we've got more breath in ourselves, I'm then able to flip it and go, I'm safe. I feel good when I go shopping. Let's go shopping. And even though my body still felt tense, I wasn't being triggered into shutdown. Big difference. It still enables us to do things, all right? Ask yourself, what am I believing? So we've got to change our beliefs. You've got to know what it is you're believing, okay? So my belief last night when I was going shopping, it could have been something as simple as, I'm going to make a mess of this, I can't do this. And that comes up a lot, I can't do this. Because of the overwhelm from the trauma, we get beliefs of, I can't do this. We have to be prepared to feel those beliefs and refute them and go, I can do this. Might be hard, but I can. And is it true? Well, no, it's not true. That belief's not true. That belief came from my trauma. That belief is in me, but the belief isn't my truth today. And what we do is rebuild truth into us about ourselves, about our circumstances, and predominantly goes around, I am safe to change the dynamics of my life, okay? Remind yourself of when you've felt accomplished and feel the accomplishment. So for me, because I've been shopping numerous times and I've felt good shopping, I was able to tap into that feel good. I feel good when I go shopping and I get to choose things, and you can actually itemize what you feel about that situation and it'll help break the cycle enough for you to go, right, then I can accomplish this. Even though my body's triggered into fear, I can still feel good and I can go ahead and accomplish what I need to do. Yeah. And remember to place your hand over your heart and breathe slowly and deeply into your tummy. Place your other hand on your tummy. If your kids are there, teach them, because what you're going to do is teach them to breathe slowly in and out and to feel how they feel. And it's priceless as a mum when your kid can tell you how they feel. It's just brilliant. And the thing is, it's been proven with complex PTSD, we do pass on this stuff to our kids. So we want to do everything to encourage them to learn how they feel, so as we rebuild, they can too. Now, if you're out, write down the order of the next steps you need to take. So grab your mobile phone, sit there breathing deeply, okay, feeling accomplished, I can do this, and write down the next steps that you need to do. So for me, last night, in my mind, I did this because that's just where I'm at, but I used to write down, I need to go to Aldi, I need to go to Woolworths, and, I have my list of what I'm going to get, because otherwise, trauma brain, I will forget. And I needed to get dinner. Okay, so as I wrote down each step, I imagined in my mind what that was going to look like, how it would go. And even though I had to change it up when I got to dinner, it was okay, because I'd already been building that feeling into me of, I'm having fun, this is enjoyable, I can do this, okay? This is not easy work. It is not, but it's worth it. Now, I want you to prepare a safe vault. What is a safe vault, you ask? A safe vault is a range of sensory tools for public outings, plus safe options. So, if you're going out into a major crowd, you want to organise something that is a smell that makes you feel safe. Sometimes it can be a perfume, but put it on a hanky so that you can hold it there and it feels safe. It brings you back the reminder of being at home, or whatever that situation is that the smell brings back. It will help, okay? So I carry with me, Sensei actually have little pouches that you can get. So I carry one with me, which is vanilla from memory, and that's good, okay? It helps me. What's the other thing I have? I also can sometimes carry perfume with me, because that is a safe thing for me. I love perfume, as particular perfume. So use touch. Take something with you that you can touch, okay? That's really important. Even if it's just a piece of material that you touch regularly at home, it'll remind you to touch and that I'm safe. I am in an environment that I have control in and over. I can work through this, I can work through the triggers, and I am safe. Now, taste is easy. You can always get something to taste when you're out, usually. Or I used to carry little nut bars with me as well. I don't anymore, but at one stage that was really helpful for me to switch what was going on in the chaos, okay? Now, you can use all your other sensory things, and obviously there's things like fidget spinners, etc., etc. Now, the safe options part of your safe vault is, if you're out, and you've got to pre-prepare this, okay? If you're out, you have to pre-prepare where you feel you will be safe. So what is something, so one of our group members is going out to a massive event tomorrow. So if that was me, I'd get a map of the whole process. I'd look to places where I would feel safe standing, and I would know how to get to those places. That's just one example. And they would be places that didn't have a lot of noise. So it could be a mother's room. Don't know that won't be noisy, but you get the gist, okay? Less noisy than, the big event happening. So think about it, okay? Think about how you can prepare in the normal range of things. So if you get triggered going out your front door, how can you pre-prepare a safe space outside your front door? How can you expose yourself to that safe space so it does become a safe space. That's also the other thing you do. So when you've got your safe vault, and then you can pick which one you're going to use before you go out. That's the best thing to do. All right? Now, as you go through all of these, and you do it often, you'll identify what the emotional mental trigger was as you work through it all, okay? And that's priceless. And then we work at changing the belief, okay? I hope this helps you work it through. If you need help, I do consultations for people who want to journey down this road of healing and helping retrain our brain into putting everything in order. And that's basically what we do. We get CPtsd will take away our core identity. So we rebuild our identity, we rebuild our thoughts and beliefs, and we do that from a soul level. Okay? Have the most beautiful weekend. It was lovely sharing this with you. And any questions or comments, feel free to comment below. And I'll have all the links for YouTube in. And if you'd like to know when my next video comes out, just hit subscribe. And I look forward to journeying with you. Okay. Thank you. Bye for now.